So what about the robot? We get introduced to B at the beginning, and one thing I noticed about B is he has one of his wheel covers is a different color than the other ones, right? So I thought that was like an homage to C3PO having like a different colored appendage,
I think
like,
that's just sorry, it's my dog.
uh-huh.
I think that's just a typical Star Wars universe thing where everything's banged up and patched together, particularly
Especially
on what's the name of the planet that he had been living on with his adopted mom for
Eric's.
Eric's, yeah. Eric's is much like Tatooine. The population's poor. Nobody has anything. It's all secondhand stuff. Kind of the outreaches of nowhere. So that it didn't make me think of anything more than that. B was, you have to have a soft spot for that one because they tried really hard to. It's basically his dog. It's just a
Absolutely.
robot instead, and can talk.
In
And
fact, the dog's like urinate on him at the beginning, and then he has to defend himself by pulling a R2D2, like when R2 zaps like Salacious Crumb or the Ewoks, like he has that little zapper. So B has one of those and he scares the dogs off, but they have no respect for him. Droids do not do well in the Star Wars universe. They are second-class citizens for sure.
oh, for sure. But to make a dog-like robot who is very sentimental and is supposed to pluck your heartstrings, it's really easy to screw that up and make it super sappy to the point where you don't like the character because it's so obvious. And they didn't do that with this one. It was used sparingly. It was used at kind of the slow and tender moments to make certain scenes more poignant. So I thought they handled that really well.
They did. In fact, when Cassian's mother passes away, it's B's reaction that evoked the most emotion in me. It wasn't any of the other characters. It wasn't Bix. It wasn't the other guy, that Cassian's buddy. I guess I could pull the name out, but it was. But that speaks to the fact that those characters were in the background for me. It was B's reaction to, you could stay the night, like that kind of thing. Okay, just one night. Those kinds of very human, very childlike, very lost,
Right.
reactions. And it was like, that's what drove home her demise for me. Certainly wasn't Andor's reaction. He's cold and he's stoic. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. The other android, who was actually an android, like human shaped, was the KX unit on that pleasure planet or the beach resort planet. And
Yeah, that just pins them against the wall.
Yeah, we're expecting K2SO, right? Because we're expecting that wonderful Alan Tudyk, like hilarious comic relief. No. This is what their primary design was, right? They're just gonna they're enforcers, right?
Yeah, they're enforcers. Yeah.
But he didn't mean hang, he meant like watch. They're like hang, and he like pins him against the wall. A cement wall.
I did spend a little bit of time thinking about that because that was a really great scene, and it made me think about how seamless it was because these units are they're like 8 feet tall, 9 feet tall, and they're just pinning him up. His feet are dangling, but you don't whatever series of levers and green screens and wires that they use to achieve that, seamless. It just looked like they filmed something that actually happened with a giant robot.
Yeah. And that, of course, you said with the feet off the ground and being held by the neck, of course, evokes Vader. So you got the ultimate Imperial being like, what's the word? I said invoked, but that's not the right word. Anyway,
Like
they're calling your mind back to like the start of the original Star Wars movie, which is great. So there are great moments, I think, in this series.